Hello and welcome, and this is the Nissan Fairlady Z34, better known as the Nissan 370Z. Now this is possibly one of the greatest cars I have ever driven in game, and I have been behind the wheel from everything from the Honda Fit up to the McLaren P1 GTR, from small fuel savers all the way up to hybrid hypercars. The Nissan 370Z has the ability to compete with the best of them. The only downside I have with this car is this interior. I mean, just look at it. Who would opt for this color? Now, if you haven't clicked off the video because you thought I was talking nonsense, because if you drive the standard 370Z, it's nothing to write home about. The car performs like any entry-level sports car. It actually has a bit of understeer. Performance is kinda underwhelming. It oversteers now and then, but as I said, the understeer is quite dominant. It is noticeable. There's no way around it that you're gonna miss it. Acceleration, it's okay. Top speed, it's nothing mind-blowing. The car is the most average sports car that you can think of. It's nothing special. But even when you chuck performance parts onto this vehicle, it still doesn't change much. So how is this the greatest car I have ever driven? It has one very special tuning part that sadly not a lot of people will actually get, and that's an engine swap. I'm saying little like we're not swapping out the entire engine. Yes, we have the ability to put in a racing V8 from the Nissan GTR GT500. Yes, the famous Nissan to absolutely dominate the GT500 race series. Now if we actually look at the stats of both engines and compare it, we see that we actually gain less than 200 brake horsepower, but we do shave off some weight. But I mean, 200 extra horsepower is not gonna make this car be able to compete with some of the fastest cars in the game. But adding another 300 horsepower on top of that should get the job done, especially when we start stripping all of the weight out of this vehicle, which on paper doesn't even make this the most powerful or even the lightest car. There are other engine swap vehicles that weigh about 900 kgs and have over 1000 brake horsepower. So yes, on paper it doesn't look like it could be the best out there, but when you actually put this vehicle on track is where the real test begins. So coming into a first corner, I had no idea what to expect. No traction on. It has about 800 horsepower going to the back wheel, so we have no idea how this could behave. It could be a complete drift machine, or it could be completely uncontrollable like the Hellcat swap Plymouth Roadrunner. But this car is completely different, because with the setup that I have, I mean, it's a personal tune that I applied, and I'm not even that good at tuning, but oh my word, did this perform like a complete race car. It took every corner flat, okay, not flat out, every corner the car is planted. It has so much grip, but it gets to a certain point where, okay, you can feel the car's gonna slip, you need to back off a little bit. Now most other cars, you just drive and you feel, okay, there's no real limit. It just spins out, it just loses control. This, you put your foot down, you can feel, okay, you get into the edge, and you back off. And that way, you can take corners as fast as possible. Any corner, you point it and it is going in that direction. It is such a point and shoot vehicle. I didn't even feel this in the McLaren P1. I mean, I drove all of the cars with zero traction on, and somehow this car, this Nissan 370Z, is the most responsive and the most accurate car you will feel. If you point, because I play on controller, if I point the joystick, the car turns that specific amount. If I need to make a correction, the small wiggle of the joystick, the car is instantly responding. Yes, it is not the fastest car I've driven, but this car is honestly perfect. It has just the right amount of power that, okay, it has enough power to get going, but it isn't overwhelmed. The car isn't breaking traction every time you put your foot down. You don't have to throttle control this vehicle. You can just push it as hard as possible and the car will take it. And that's what I love. Look at this corner I'm taking now. Yes, okay, a little bit off on the throttle, off on the brake just to keep it in line. But the car isn't being aggravated, you know, it isn't fighting back. This car listens to your inputs and it takes it and puts it out onto circuit. Even talking about this car, I want to go and drive it again. It is such an experience, even driving some of the most expensive street cars in the game. Okay, let me just clarify something. With me saying this is the best car in the game, this is, you know, I mean street car. Because I know there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, this F1 car, the Red Bull car, the Vision GT, it's better, it's faster, it's faster. I'm talking about a street car. A car you can go to Brand Central with and you can use it in street event. This car is nothing like I've ever experienced before. I mean, I was setting fast lap times, but I knew this car can beat the McLaren P1 GTR. And that's exactly what I did. Put my foot down, coming up to the S's. Look there. Just let the car roll. The car is so stable going around corners. The minute you put your foot on the accelerator, the car is taking off. It just wants to get you going. Even when you let off, it doesn't shake the car. The car isn't very unstable. I think this is more down to my tuning. Now, as I said, I don't really tune my vehicles. I get all of my tunes from other YouTubers and just see, okay, how does the car perform? But this, I just threw something random together and oh my days does it work. I'm gonna post the tune at the very end of this video, so if you wanna use it and try it out, feel free. Now, foot flat, round there. Usually even in the McLaren, I spun out. The car just, with no traction, it was a little bit skittish and all over the place. This Nissan 370Z had none of that. And it's actually incredible to think about. So this car, it is fun to drive. Only downside, with the setup that's in the car, don't think about shifting it. And with that 130.0, I set the fastest lap I've ever set around the circuit. Drifting, it's not this car's strong suit. This is a track focused vehicle. It is a track weapon. So you yanking the handbrake and trying to slide it, it's not working with the setup. So if you do want to drift it, trust me, you need to work on a different setup because this one does not work at all. As you can see, I'm trying to get the car to slide out and it spins out. If you have the chance to experience this vehicle, if you get this engine swap, do it immediately. You won't regret it. I really wish this is the best recovery I ever did. I know I'm talking and I'm interrupting myself, but this is honestly the best engine swap. I know I say this about every engine swap, honestly, but stands out from the crowd. It performed like none of the others. It's such a perfect blend. I'm so pleased with it and just happy I actually got to experience it. So if you do get the chance, please try it out. Yes, I was very fortunate enough to get this other roulette ticket, and I know there are many people who will just never drive this car and experience what I experienced, and that is honestly, it's heartbreaking. Hopefully we get a system that makes it a lot easier to actually acquire engine swaps. So with all that being said, hope you guys did enjoy that, and if you want to see what else I got out of my roulette tickets, then watch this video here.